Um, First, I think is important to acknowledge the size of the market, right? We are talking that globally we have over 2.6 billion gamers, so it's about 40% of the global population is playing games, which is quite mind-boggling, right? So many people don't realize that. Um, of course, whenever we classify people as gamers, we have different kinds of games, we have different kinds of platforms, and so on. Uh, when you look those 2.6 billion gamers, and we look, okay, how many of them are really having real-time online experiences with other people, right? And then we are talking about almost 900 million people doing that, which is a lot of people, right? So that's how big the market it is. And who are the people? Who are those people, right? Maria briefly mentioned that before. Sometimes people has misconceptions about who gamers are. They usually think about few teenagers spending many hours in hardcore gaming as the traditional profile of a gamer. But actually, games are really deep inside the cultural pop, right? So we have, of course, kids and teens playing a lot, right? But this also evolves to older age ranges. So we have middle ages and even seniors playing games all the time. And of course, we have different kinds of games and different kinds of interactions, different kinds of platforms. So it's a very, very diverse market. Another thing that's always relevant to say is many people usually preconcept that games are more boys driven, right? It's more male audience, but actually the female audience is slightly bigger than the male. So it's about 54 to 46% of the players are female versus male. So diverse audience on age, gender, preferences, game styles,
Race.
professions, race. So build solutions that fits all those profiles is super important, and that's basically one of the key things that we need to keep in mind whenever we start designing our solutions. And talking about okay, what kind of challenges we are discussing here, right? Sometimes whenever we discuss about online gaming safety, people just think about, yeah, someone cursing someone else online, or like some sort of dispute within a game, or some player having some challenge around managing their frustrations or something like that. And of course all those kind of things happens, but honestly, the list of challenges are much wider than that. So games are really struggling with frauds, crimes, and toxicity. And so let me list just some things here for you guys to understand. We are talking about bullying, harassment, hate speech, sexism, racism, identity theft, scams, bots, fake accounts, duplicated accounts, smurfing, and even groomers and predators, right? So whenever we see all this wide spectrum of challenges, yes, going back to Maria's point earlier, right? It's not like a single initiative that will make this space better for players. It's a combination. It's like a big puzzle that needs to be built in terms of solutions, technologies, procedures, and so on. But what's really important to say is those problems are not very diverse and have different perspective, but they are also very often, right? So the level of severity is high and the frequency of the problems are also super high. So there was a research done by ADL in the past couple of years, and it's the Anti-Defamation League. They are a very reputable institution trying to understand hate speech within online
Online
platforms.
platforms.
Yeah, and I recommend they have a lot of great materials over there. So they are doing this survey with specifically with games, right? And they are doing this consistently so we can see the trend, what's going on. So 81% of players experience some sort of harassment inside games in the past year. So 81% is so very, very often. So um, 35% of them were sexual harassment. 65% of them were severe harassment. So often and intense sorts of disruptive behaviors. Um, and of course, this survey also includes many other factors. So many other challenges that I described before, they try to measure that. So all of those problems are pretty present inside the platforms. We also have other things that's more related to frauds and crimes. So for example, 37% of players cheats inside online games. And they do this for different reasons. So they do just for ego reasons, right? To be the best, to be the number one, whatever. But there is a growing uh, space for professionalization within gaming, right? Driven by esports. You guys are pretty familiar with that or heard about it. So many people are getting professional around esports from this amateur to the professional level. All this path, people are making money to compete on gaming like any other traditional sport. So whenever you have the financial incentive of winning a match, is where some people feel tempted to use some illegal tools and softwares in order to take advantage in competitions. So again, frauds and crimes are definitely another part of the scope that we have to tackle and work with. Well, naturally, those problems, as I described, they are very bad for players, their families, for the online communities, but they are also hurting the industry. And this is really important, right? Because if the industry don't feel the pain, less likely they will be willing to adopt or change their processes or change their technology stack in order to tackle the problems, right? So having this impact measured on the dollar bill, it's important, right? To make the for-profit companies to make incisive actions in order to change this landscape. And why the companies are willing to do that? Why gaming companies are willing to do that? Because all those problems that we described before are one of the major reasons for users churn. They also have several problems related to credibility and financial losses, regulatory challenges they have to tackle. So there is a pressing movement to really make those companies to be more proactive in the way they tackle all those possible online harms. So there is a rough calculation that the toxicity, right, itself, it's a problem. It's a problem that makes it hits about $10 billion problem, right? Because whenever you see the level of user churn and all the compliance related risk is about that. Fake and duplicated accounts is over $1 billion market. And usually who is buying a fake or duplicated account on the internet? And you just go there and Google it, right? Buying a fake account or a League of Legends Smurfette account, for example, right? You see like many illegal websites doing that and selling that, right? Usually who is buying those fake accounts is not just someone that was banned because they curse the other player online. Usually we are really talking about the criminals and fraudsters that are buying multiple accounts to really make a financial harms or even personal harms to someone else. So this is really important.
So, and we basically thought, what will be our role in driving meaningful change in this space? And then we came with our theory of change and with our mission, which is basically scale safety and fair play to millions of players working with the games they love. And we have two major goals. So one is to eradicate predators, and two, to significantly minimize, reduce all kinds of severe transgressions. And whenever we're thinking about the kind of interventions we would implement, we analyze all the technology solutions, services that are already trying to intervene and to do something about those challenges. And we found out that most of them were focusing on mitigation. So they were not trying to understand the root causes of the problems and try to eliminate the sources of those risks and harms. And by doing that, by focusing on mitigation and informing users about, community guidelines and moderating communities, and even encouraging them to make a personal change, to encourage them to make like to foster different kinds of habits when they're playing, where most of the times investing in the least effective solutions and services for games. So we came up with this hierarchy of measures, and every time we're designing our services and thinking about solutions, we're mostly focusing on stopping the sources of those risks and harms and unpleasant experience for players. We're not saying these other tools and interventions are not important, but them itself, based on the data we have available, they're not able to prevent and to reduce harassment, hate speech, all of those problems we were describing. So our ultimate goal as a company became working in this first pillar and helping the others to make a better job in whatever they're doing.
At the end of the day, just going back 1 minute, Maria,
Mhm.
as I mentioned before, this is a big puzzle, right? It's not like a single tool that will solve all the problems. So the
Oops.
composition of those elements and tools are really important, right? So the way that we see this is a really like a funnel, as Maria just presented over here, right? Because we believe that by tackling most of the problems on the root, right? What we will be doing, we are alleviating the funnel of other tools. So whatever needs to be managed by mitigation and other things are more filtered per se, and the overall efficiency of the solution and the system safety system will be of course much higher. So again, it's a complex puzzle. Of course, different problems that we described it before, they will be more heavy related in some step of this funnel, but in a general term, and I think this works for everything, not only for safety tech, right? So overall healthy, for example, yes, preventing a disease is much better than just medicate it, right? And that's is exactly how we see that on safety tech perspective.
And that's how we came with our product and our company, which is a cross platform gaming ID powered by computer vision and AI technologies to verify and authenticate player identity. We try to focus and deliver the service before a player joins a match. And with that, we're focusing on providing not only a safer experience for them, but also a better experience because there is also the opportunity to offer a more compatible matching based on their own preferences.
And and I think whenever we were building our solution, right, we were working on some guiding principles. Maria, sorry. Yeah.
Right.
So those guiding principles is basically helping us to understand what's our commitment with the industry and with the player, and that becomes like a what we understand like a best practice whenever you are designing and thinking a safety tech company. Of course, there are many other points. We're just trying to come up with some of them that we believe is important. So the first point is make sure that we are being transparent and honest with your users, right? About the services that you provide. So yes, we saw many services in the past couple of years promoting one value proposition, but really exploiting the user and the data to deliver other things. So in computer vision side, we see this happening many times. So you download an app that will simulate how it looks like in a few years from now, right? How you will age, but they are basically collecting your picture to train other models and sell this to someone else. So yes, unfortunately, these kind of things happen. So first, right, be clear with your audience about what's the value proposition that you are doing, why you are serving this to them, right? And I think this is very important. And of course, we have to enable data privacy and be mindful about regulations. Whenever we talk about the player privacy and anonymity, well, this is naturally under this umbrella of data privacy regulations. But let's be very clear here. Regulations, I think they are really important to move the standard on the industry slightly higher, but they usually just push late runners, right? The regulations are usually just pushing people that are really resisting to do the right things right, to move to another level, right? We cannot be satisfied with the data, with the regulation level only, mainly on a technology perspective, because technology evolves so fast, right? The new services, the new tools, the new use cases, but the regulations not. Regulations take many years to catch up, right? And regulations, they can be applied differently in state level, country level, and so on. So if you're just looking into regulations, you are maybe not serving players and users in the way that you should. So of course, be on top of the regulations is important, but be ahead and above the regulatory requirements is where we believe is the best place to be, and it's where the safety tech industry is really trying to evolve to, right? So, okay, how can I be ahead of the trend? So we, for example, we are part of many discussions on how some regulations will be 2, 3 years from now in some countries, mostly Australia, UK, and Europe, right? They are a little bit more progressive on online regulations, and our solutions already delivers what they will make mandatory 3 years from now. So that's how we are on ahead of the curve and really trying to push it and really trying to find partners and companies that are willing to be the leaders on that. So we really make the overall industry evolve faster on that perspective. Another point that we always like to share is have the best practice of a data minimization, right? Uh, so it's very tempting in any product design to collect and to track every single data about players, right? And you say, maybe in the future I need that. Well, if you need that in the future you implement this data collection and give a good reason for that. So I think the past couple of years, mainly led by big online companies, people are tracking everything that you're doing. So they really abuse on the reach of the data they could collect, and of course this create a lot of uneasiness on users, regulatory entities, and so on. So make sure that you're collecting that data that you really need and it's crucial for you. And of course, that's the basics. Keep it that secure, right? So there's like a basic things that you could do in order to keep that secure. So yes, this is really important. What we say is we have different grades of security that you have to implement it based on what kind of solution do you tackle, but every single one of them is really important. So be mindful about it. Another point, and I think this goes a little back to the point that we made before about how diverse gamers are, right? It's important for you to create solutions that are inclusive and respect diversity, right? So understand that you have a diverse audience is important because you have to be careful, making sure that you consider the risks of your users based on who they are or how they understand themselves, right? And make sure that you're not just to push people to a certain behavior or block, and not be mindful about it. So diverse and inclusion is of course a very important topic, and the safety really needs to take this into consideration as well. And actually not only take this into consideration, but help the industries to foster that properly, right? Finally, I think whenever we discuss safety, there is one variable that's super important, which is the age of the user. We know that small kids and up to really senior people has access to online experiences right now, uh, and based on their age, I think the level of expectations on the safety will change. Um, so there is a strong discussion nowadays which we call the age appropriate design, and I think this is also very close to the safety tech trend. So how can you design a product from scratch that's appropriate to different age audiences, right? And it's not only a matter of putting a checkbox in the beginning of your application or your solution, say, yes, I'm above 13, or I'm above 16, or I'm above 18. And if you're not, this experience doesn't suit you because Usually this not really this won't prevent a player to join if they are underage, right? So how are you creating guardrails for minors, for example, if your solution doesn't it's not a fit for them? And a guardrail that's bigger than just a checkbox, right? So we see this as a trend, right, where companies will be compelled to do to be more proactive in the way they enforce age appropriate strategies, just to make sure that if this experience doesn't suit this specific audience, they have a plan in place instead of just ignoring and pretending they are not coming. So, oh, my website is just for mature audience, and I say that right at the front of my experience, so I'm done. No, you're not done. So, what else you are doing in order to prevent minors to join your solution? So, this kind of mindset and this kind of trend is really strong. And as I mentioned before, will be a strong component of future regulations that are about to be approved in some countries. And of course, at least that was our approach, right? We make our services free for all players, right? So we really would like to democratize the access to a better and safer online experience, and that's why we don't charge anything from players. Of course, we do see the overall industry do see benefits of using our technology, and they have financial benefits of doing that because they can minimize operational costs, they can minimize user churn, and so on. So we really find ways of building a sustainable business model without charging players. So no matter if you are coming from a low income family playing a game from a very old mobile phone out of a slum in Brazil, for example, right? Or if are super wealthy people somewhere else playing a very high end device, you we both should have the same safety experience on our perspective, and that's a little bit on one of the guiding principles that we rely on to build out our platforms.
Yeah.
And
And these principles are part of the conversations we have with all different teams in our company. And because Rodrigo worked for other companies before, we see the difference of having those principles since the beginning of your development process. So I think this is because you will be working in several companies, right? This is an invite for you also to think since the beginning what are the core values, what are the principles you as professionals will follow and will implement in your design, because sometimes when we only implement thinking about the positive impact of the service we will provide without thinking about the unwanted consequences, that's what is creating all the problems we have in online platforms this day. And it's also affecting the way many stakeholders are seeing games at the moment, because I talk with a lot of parents, and parents, they hate games many times. And we have all this challenge, both of us, to explain, oh, game is fun, they can learn, they can um, it they can interact, make social connections, they can relax, decompress. There are all these benefits, but the only thing they keep is like, oh no, this is violent, or they can connect with a bunch of people they shouldn't. So when we prevent and think about these guiding principles, it can help us to only highlight the benefits of online platforms and in games in general, which is our main value proposition. We you
yeah,
wanna
just to add to your point, Maria, and I think you are spot on, right? So think about those things at the beginning of the designing process is really important. And we really talk and we have customers, right, on esports world and gaming world that were not that aware or that mindful at beginning, and right now they really struggle. So after you have a fully fleshed product and a big community and a service over there, to really catch up is hard, because I think for a long many people have this kind of concept, right? Mainly when they are designing online new services, it's yes, I just want to push as many users as I can in, and later on I fix things up. Some things you cannot fix, right? Or some things is so painful to fix and so resource consuming that becomes like an internal battle inside the company, right? So we already discussed this with some customers. So sometimes, and we work with big companies, right? Sometimes you have several people inside the company that's really concerned about a specific problem that we tackle, and they are trying to come up with solutions, but the product is so mature in some things that's so hard to implement new tools, to implement new procedures and these kind of things, that's even though they want it, is super hard. So keep that on mind since beginning, and being an influence voice inside any organizations that you work with, it's really important. So don't expect just the leader of the organization say, yes, let's do the right thing since beginning, right? So be a strong voice on that. Is a really great hack to be a great professional and a great
Be a
citizen.
force for good, yeah, in this
Yeah.
space. We left a few minutes for questions and answers. I saw that someone made a comment, someone from Brazil. I really like to
Oh,
see that we have Brazilians in the call. Yay! um, and I don't know if we have any questions, but we're also always looking for talents, connections for people that cares about what we do. So feel free
connect
also
with us
to
on
connect with
LinkedIn.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I left my comments here, but
No problem.
Rodrigo is just changing Maria for Rodrigo, and everything will be basically the same.
Perfect, perfect. Yeah, we actually have some questions here for you guys.
Great.
Okay, let me stop sharing, and then I can maybe
Yeah,
later
better.
on share it again. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries, no
The
worries.
hard one is for Maria. The easy one is for me. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect. So this one is for both of you. I'm sure you know, like from your presentation. What are some of your favorite games, and which ones would you like to see have more safer options?
Start,
Okay.
Maria. Yeah.
Okay. So my favorite right now is Animal Crossing. I am passionate about it, and I really like because now the baby that you saw in the picture, he's almost 3 years old, and Animal Crossing is also a game that I save his screen time for this specific moment. So he's there with me, guiding whatever I'm doing in the game. So he likes, Mom, go fishing, go collect those fruits. He loves the museum. He knows all the dinosaurs that are in that game. I could go on and on, but this is the one that I'm playing a lot.
Well, I'm playing. Well, I wish I could play more than I'm playing right now. I like the first-person shooters in general, more action-related things. I like a real-time strategy games as well, simulators in general. My favorite game ever is Arma 3 is more as a military simulator, right? I'm a veteran myself, but it's a game that really consumes you a lot of time. So a single mission can take like a 3 to 4 hours non-stop. So I didn't play this game for almost 3 years. Actually, 3 years since the latest baby came to the family. Uh, but yeah, I like everything. Games are all over is great. And I think I will go into the second part of the question, which games we would like to see more safe, right? Of course, it's hard. Every single one of them are pretty open to the challenge that we described. Of course, I think there is specific spectrum of the problems that we are personally super mindful, which are the child exploitation scenarios, right? And of course, those the games that are more popular among preteens and teens are the ones that we would like to see them doing better. So yeah, I'm just trying to not put some names over there, otherwise we can be bad with some of
Complicate
our
our
customers.
stuff. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
No, no,
But you are
perfect.
also playing League of Legends. You're trying the mobile version now,
Yeah,
right?
I'm playing the Wide Rift now on the mobile because it's faster, and I really
Mhm.
like it. It's cool.
But with
Yeah,
our older one, you used to play Call of Duty.
Call of Duty,
Mhm.
Battlefield, um, Cold War in general. Yes, yeah, come on,
You
anything.
can see that games are part of our family life.
I can play even solitary, no
perfect.
problem. I play everything.
No, that's really great answers. I've been playing Wild Rift myself a little bit. obviously, I've been wanting to play more, but organizing this conference has just sucked my time dry. So,
Yeah.
but Wild Rift was, like you said, it's faster paced, so I do enjoy that. And I feel, I've been playing League for a while now. I have seen some incredibly terrible things said in that
Yeah.
game. So
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. Better options can definitely, like, the gaming industry definitely needs.
Yeah.
Because games like, and from my experience, I've seen people say horrible things, and no action is taken, or not enough action is taken, and
And
so
not fast enough sometimes, right? So,
exactly.
and I think that's a problem, right? That's the problem on the mitigation piece of it that we were talking about. And we have to understand the challenge on the industry side, right? So you were just mentioning a League of Legends, for example, right? They have billions of interactions on daily basis, right? Try to track and understand that's what's going on in every single match and provide an answer real time is really, really hard, right?
Right.
So, and this come up with all this perspective, yeah, nobody cares and I can do whatever. So the lack of accountability, and then becomes like this snowball of bad behavior. So that's why prevention is important, because yeah, just trying to track things in real time is hard.
And also when we were showing those data points, we didn't like show the whole data, but there is also data showing that some of the targets of harassment are many times, uh, people of color, Latinos, women, all of that. So we know that also, is an issue that we need to tackle because, gaming communities are diverse.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Very well said. If they know something about you and they are being toxic, they will use that,
Yep. Hmm.
and they just want to get under your skin. So, yeah, no, I like I said, excuse me, I appreciate that. Yeah, coming from someone who plays League, I'm
Yep.
glad, I'm sure you completely understand how
Yeah.
it is. And
And the toxicity is bad, of course, for the victim, right?
right,
But
exactly.
it's also bad for the person, right? This, come on, if yelling someone else makes your life better, your life really needs more meaning, right? But
Right.
this is also bad for everybody else that's within the match, because just to testify that kind of thing, even though you're not the target, is not something that say, yeah, okay, that's great. They are just, fighting each other. I'm okay with that. No, that's not cool at all.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And like you both have been saying, it really fosters a good environment for the game, for the community, I've had some pretty good experiences with, mostly with indie games, because they're smaller, so these a lot of indie games are very community based.
Yeah.
So I've had very wholesome experiences, uh, and with a community like, League of Legends, for example, it's so large. It is an issue, and it's a complicated one. Uh, but from my experience, I'm not sure if it's being prioritized as much as it should be. And that's what I love, having you guys on, speaking about this topic and everything you've created. It's really great work you both are doing.
Great.
Thank you. Do you have
So
any other questions?
yeah, so perfect. Which stage of creating GamerSafer was the most difficult?
Mm,
Hmm.
Well, it's a roller coaster, I can tell. We're up there and then we're down there. We're up there and we're down there. It's crazy.
Emotionally speaking, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I think the most challenging step was make this leap of faith and jump, right? Because both of us, we were fairly well positioned professionals before. I was an executive in a large tech company, right? Maria had many projects, and I was advising many other companies, and we both had like a very well established careers, very secure per se, right? And very yeah, we were in a different curve of traditional entrepreneurs, right? And we basically dropped everything to create GamerSafer, right? Le-
Take the risk.
we
Yeah.
took the risk to make it, and I think that's scary and nerve-wracking. And many people that share similar lifestyle than us before say, "I can't believe you did it," right?
Are
So
you
I think
sure you're gonna do it?
yeah,
Are
you're
you
dropping
sure?
you're dropping your executive salary and benefits to go to this crazy life. And yeah, then why we did it, right? Because we really, of course, we see this as a great business opportunity, no doubt, and we are like seasoned professionals enough to say yes, there is a big opportunity here. But I think it's the mission, right? Whenever the mission hits you and say someone needs to do something like that. So by being part of the industry, right, I was seeing from behind the curtains how severe the things are, right? Yeah, it's not just people yelling at each other. There are criminals, like a professional fraudsters, people that really go wake up every day to say, well, I will exploit someone. You know, I will try to do something to harm someone else. And I think so was very hard at the beginning, but I think the mission basically say go, right? And that's what happens.
Perfect answer. No,
And I can tell we usually don't feel that we're working most of the time. So we have like a time that we tell each other, no, we're not working anymore. Like, let's stop, because we can keep talking, because it's so engaging, it's so important, it's so motivating. So
Yeah.
Right. I definitely I love that passion, and I know exactly what you mean. You know, you kind of have to, for your own sake, for your own health, have to tell yourself, I need to slow down. I need to set some, but it's that passion, and it's great seeing you. You know, when you both came in here, you guys are just smiling, happy to be here, and I love that kind of energy. I love that attitude. You know, that's really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
As soon
Sorry.
as we just a final comment here. As soon as we start this journey, right? We look each other and we say, as we said, if all this great adventure that we are jumping in save a single player, right? We are done. We are satisfied. So actually, I think we are doing much more than that. But
yeah,
that was the
very a
mindset,
lot
right?
more.
So that's great.
No, that's great. I love your passion for that as well, for the player base. You know, to
Yeah.
create a more wholesome experience, because that means a lot. You know, it means a lot to have that kind of experience when you're playing a game.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
finding people like I said, like people like us right now, just loving what we're doing right now, working together. It's a great feeling. It leaves you with a great feeling. So that's really great. You both are so wholesome. Really great. Okay, so I think that's it. That's all we have.
Cool.
So
Yeah. It's right
again,
on time. Yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
If you guys have any last things to say, go ahead, go right for it. Want to plug anything?
Well, feel free to connect with us on LinkedIn. If we can help in anything, we are always willing to do so. Um, our app is available on the app stores. We already are integrated with some games and esports platforms. Go there and check it out. Send your comments, send your questions back to us. Always love to interact and talk about what we do. So that's it on my end. And thank you, of course,
Yeah,
for the space and opportunity. Yeah.
yes, yeah, we're pretty happy and excited to be here again. I think we had another event with Ruben Caputo, I think a couple of months ago. So keep counting on us. And whenever you're choosing your own path, try to combine the things you like most about, the things you're good at, and the things that keeps your heart beating. Because I can tell you that's possible. Because early in my journey, I thought I need to make money to make a living, but that didn't like satisfy me at the end of the day. So it's possible to combine all those things. It's just like a matter of investing more time in finding those opportunities. So go for it. And if you need us for anything in your journey, like talk about like opportunities and clarify things, please contact us. We're happy to help. We have a
Play
21
online,
years old
right?
that is going through the same journey, that plays a lot and is looking for job opportunities, his next step. So we will be happy to do so for you.
You know how it works.
Perfect, perfect. All right, well, thank you. Everyone, let's give them a virtual round of applause for joining us.
Oh, nice.
Thank you, guys. Enjoy
Hopefully,
your
we'll
day
see you
there.
guys next year.
See you.
Next week,
Bye.
Thorax. See you.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so up next, let me pull up the schedule right here. Up next is at 1:30. We're gonna have a DFIR demo, and so top of that, before that, at 12:15, we're having a networking session. So if you're still here, I'll tell you where you can find that. On Whova, just below the community tab, there's network table. You can click that and it should open in, oh, perfect, tells me right here. It should open in 12 minutes. Definitely show up for that. I believe we have it set up so you will be kind of, it's like a speed dating thing where you'll be meeting with multiple people in a room, and you can network, speak with them. I believe some of the speakers will be partaking in that as well. So I would definitely check it out. It's a good opportunity to meet with professionals, other students, and it's great for networking. So definitely catch you guys there. And so we will return to this room again at 1:30 for the DFIR demo. And I will see you guys then.